Welcome. So vibrato. I get asked about it. I think it's a little bit of a tough thing to teach. And it might be a little tough to learn via the internet. So this might be one of those subjects where it'd be really good for you to have a flesh and blood teacher that can touch you at certain spots and say, no, relax here, or move this way. But I'll try my best here to help you out. One of the ways I'll help you out is depending on what kind of player you are. If you are a classical violinist, a trained classical violinist who are looking to cross over into the fiddling world, you probably already know how to vibrato and have that well established. The tough thing for you folks is to learn how to turn it off, because most fiddling doesn't use any vibrato, or at best only on the long notes of a ballad. Okay? So my advice to classical crossovers is just practice for a couple weeks using zero vibrato, none. It's going to be a hard thing to turn it off, and a lot of students that are classically trained that come to me have a tough time with that. But just force yourself to sound as plain and bare bones as you can. You might even feel naked to do it, but just do that and you're on your way, because in most of the ethnic styles of fiddling that came over from Europe to America, there's no vibrato at all. It's plain toned. So get used to that. Now in the jazz world, we mix everything together. It's a big hybrid, and there's some vibrato. We'll talk more about that towards the end, a little more advanced stuff. You can hang in or fast forward in this. Now if you're an absolute beginner to vibrato and want to get this beautification of the tone, that is, I'll admit, a bit illogical. We don't know why human beings like this wiggling of the pitch. It makes no sense, but it sounds cool to us for some reason or other. I will give you a few exercises here, and I'll start with those now. Exercise number 1. These might seem kind of silly, but what we're doing is training your muscles to move in certain ways, new ways. So what I want you to do is place all your fingers on the strings and simply slide them up and down the neck, all the way up till you're like getting rosin on your fingers where the bow goes, as far as you can. You need to learn to be loose and flexible and bendable in your wrist. And I'll go closer to the camera and give you a couple different angles. So come up, way up, go to the side. Let your thumb slide with the hand. When it hits the heel, let it kind of come around all as far as you need. When it comes back, keep it there until it meets the hand and let the thumb follow down. You need to get everything loose. You need to bend at the wrist when you come way up. You come from another angle. Simple as that. You could do this for a week straight. You could do it while you watch TV even or something. All right? Now you can add this bow if you want. It sounds pretty silly. It is pretty silly. But what you're doing is teaching these joints to move, these joints to roll, and the thumb to be not so stiff too. And maybe a little bit coming off the neck in here is beneficial for later. All right? 1 week on that. Exercise number 2. Exercise number 2, I call it the sick cow exercise. I did this for hours. My main teacher when I was a teenager was Dennis Piwarski. He played in the Buffalo Philharmonic, my hometown, original hometown. He now plays with the National Symphony, last I heard. He's a fabulous, fabulous classical violinist who can do things technically that I'll probably never even want to do. But he's really good, and I was thrilled to, a couple times in my life, once in high school and once just last year, when Babik played with the Buffalo Philharmonic. This is 30 years after I took lessons with Dennis. That a couple of the players that were in the symphony when he was in it came up and said, boy, you play just like Dennis, especially your vibrato. So evidently he had a noted vibrato and I kind of sound like him. So I'm teaching you this way. This is the exercise that he gave me that sounds really awful. But it helped me. I did this for a long time. What I want you to do is put your second finger on the A string, right about where the neck joins the body. All right? And I also want you to put your wrist against the body of the neck, the body of the instrument. All right? So put your wrist, like you normally don't, jam it against there, so you got this little bending point, so it's kind of isolating your lower forearm. And it's going to bend at the wrist, but also we're going to put the second finger right where the body joins the neck. And we're going to simply roll it. Not touching in here. No touching in the side of the hand to the side of the neck. you're going to simply roll the fingertip sharp and flat, sharp and flat. You can put the other fingers in the air if you'd like for right now, just to isolate things. Do a couple different angles. Simple as that. Now I have this fiddle fretter on my violin, which kind of limits vibrato a little bit, but I'll see what I can do for you. Sick cow. Slowly over and over. Again, this is the kind of thing that my mother would peek her head in the door and go, "What are you doing in there?" And we had a cat that would dig its claws into my shins whenever I do this exercise. But I did it for hours, I think. And it helped me have a nice vibrato. So, again, what you're training yourself to do is wiggle in that motion. And it's muscle memory that you're trying to develop here. You're trying to get your hand and arm and your brain to tell it to do that whenever you want. All right? It's a foreign thing. It's kind of an oddball thing, but it's not impossible for the human hand to do. Keep all your joints loose, and your finger joints. Keep everything movable, everything relaxed as possible. Just get used to moving that way. That's exercise number 2. You can spend at least a week on that. Exercise number 3 is, as I touched upon in that exercise, you really cannot touch on the side of the neck with the hand. If you squeeze the neck, it's not possible to do vibrato. If you're squeezing here, you can wiggle all you want and nothing's going to happen. Maybe the bow will wiggle a bit. Nothing's going to happen. All right? So the hand has to come off and not touch the side in here. In here. So take a week and play everything. I don't care if it's your classical music, I don't care if it's your scales, fiddle tunes, whatever you're doing, without touching the side of the neck at all. Now, do I do that all the time? No. Can I? Yes. But do I? No. Normally, I touch lightly, like feather light on the side, and my hand comes off slightly when I vibrato. Again, it's not possible vibrato if your hand is on the side. So, play everything, all your scales, with a little hole in here, you know, between 1/8 inch and 1/2 inch, somewhere like that. It'll feel weird. You'll have to bring your elbow in here more and get your hand around to do it, which classical violinists have no problem with. But if you can't do that, at least for, you know, a minute at a time, you'll never do a good vibrato, in my opinion, either. So, now a little advanced stuff, like I mentioned earlier, for the classical players or somebody who really wants to take this further. There is a lot of nuances and styles within vibrato. One person will do it one way, one person will do it subtly another way. That's cool. Cool to put your own stamp on it. Different vibratos, you know, can definitely give you a unique sound. Stefan Grappelli, who I've copied in the Gypsy world, for sure, had a very quick and kind of tight vibrato that I don't aspire to, but it sounded wonderful for him. And to do that, you have to kind of stiffen your wrist, I think, and shake your whole arm. I don't care for that personally. Again, it sounded great for him. And I don't aspire, maybe philosophy-wise, to tighten anything to make something more beautiful. It should be relaxed, is my philosophy behind it. So, keep everything loose is way better, I think. Better for you in the long run, too, I would think. My personal style has morphed over the years in playing jazz and stuff and playing as an electric violinist, because there's this certain technique, which I'll probably do a whole separate video on. I'll give you the beginnings of now. I call it the feedback squealing vibrato technique. What it is this. I'll play it first. The sound kind of squeals like Jimi Hendrix's guitar did at Woodstock. It sounds cool. It sounds electric. Here's how it works.